We're back and we're getting ready for game number 3. Team Liquid and Tricked Esports are currently tied 1-1, and Tricked Esports showed up last game.
Yeah, they did. It comes, I feel, still back to what we said going into the game itself. Zeratul had so much pressure on him, and it was a last pick for them, so you have to really question a bit if that really did as well as they were hoping for, because Zeratul died 5 times, and most of the time was literally him engaging into the fight, getting taunted, getting Howling Blasted, and just like ripped to shreds. So the 2 big targets for Tricked was Zeratul when he engaged, try and take him down as fast as you can, and then Gul'dan. So the Zeratul, I think they could have maybe gone for something different, but I actually believe the idea was really dominate the early game with good pickoffs, get a lead, and then carry the momentum. And as this didn't happen, it made the game infinitely harder for them.
Yeah, the first couple of minutes did work out for them, but then suddenly Tricked Esports is able to get a kill or 2 here, and that just completely ruins all momentum going into level 10. And if you go equal footing, it gets so hard. And Zeratul, as mentioned by Caldor, just has so much pressure to perform, and it's so hard against that lineup.
If you think about like the failed false start kill attempt at the top lane, a few things like that, just like they added up.
Yeah.
And once that you don't get ahead by making these moves, making these kills, and start to play still on even footing, maybe even fall a little bit behind, you can't carry the momentum that they were probably hoping for. And then their composition gets so much harder to play. So Trick did very well here, but I think also Team Liquid had the harder draft. So yeah, makes up for a good setup to go into game number 3.
Well, let's figure out where we're going for game number 3. Which battleground will be the choice for our teams? It looks like Tricked Esport will be electing to move into Infernal Shrines. That means first pick will be going over to Team Liquid for the first time in this series. Now, remember, best of 5 series, first to 3 wins. So Infernal Shrines, this is probably one of the most staple battlegrounds here in Europe.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's also, I don't know, at the beginning when it came out, I was always a bit skeptical about it, and we've seen like crazy strategies, especially in Europe, where Abathur was played on the map all the time. We had a lot of Vikings play, especially from our Russian teams. Synergy, for example, they love to play the Vikings here.
Love Synergy,
So,
by the way.
Yeah, they're awesome, but still, it doesn't really work out so far for them in this season. I don't really expect Abathur or the Vikings being played right now, but teams have shown a lot of pocket picks actually here, so we could maybe be in for a little bit of a treat if Trick has something prepared for us.
Team Liquid dropping the Arthur's Band. Done dealing with that guy, and it's kind of a pain. If he actually gets on your back line, you have a really hard time dealing with him, so he has now been taken away. Trick Esports now has to understand what they want to get rid of.
The thing with Arthurs is also, as we said in our earlier best of 5 today, that he is extremely good just establishing that presence on the shrine itself, and it's really tricky to push into an Arthurs in this case. So that's one of the reasons why he gains added value on the map. He's also very good at collecting a few more minions towards the objective. Tricked, therefore, also has to change their front line a little bit, since they've been heavily relying on the Arthurs up to now.
All right, well, they're thinking about it. What do we want to get rid of? Do we not want to deal with the Dahaka? Darkmox seeming to want to pick up the hero whenever the opportunity does arise.
Lucio, another good ban.
True.
Tacita would be a possible ban for them. So there's quite a few. And it is the Lucio indeed. Like, it's just the mobility that it gives you, and also the utility, just getting the pushback when you're trying to escape, moving behind someone, pushing him into the team. This is usually what they're looking for.
Yep, they had to move into the map here in the Vala. That comes the staple, actually. The moment you pick up Tacita, you take away the Vala, especially here, just because of Darkmonk and his Vala capabilities. Gul'dan and Nubrak, this seems to be the new combo for Team Liquid, and it's interesting to see, because one of the things about Team Liquid that I like about them is Splendor is so intelligent when it comes to new metas and what is going to rise to the top, that they're usually the first to get there. So we might see a lot of Gul'dan and Nubrak in the next few weeks, which gets me pretty excited.
When we're talking about Gul'dan, I feel especially when we're talking in the European scene, we usually talk about MENA quite a bit. So we have Dignitas coming up this weekend, and that's another team where we can like look forward to a bit of Gul'dan play. On the other hand, with Tricked Esports, the Malfurion Vala combo is also quite strong. You just get that cooldown reduction, you get like all the extra mana there, so Vala gains a lot of momentum with this. She has added value on the map, and again, Vala is like one of the biggest cornerstones of the European meta at this point. Never in a position where you really want to ban her out, but a very early pickup in every game that we had thus far. And the ban, I like it. You see the Tacita and like, okay, what can they actually do with the Tacita? Are we going to against the Tracer? Is it going to be an Illidan? Yeah, let's just get the Illidan out there.
Which does leave Tracer up and available here for Team Liquid. I think they're actually one of the teams that haven't ran it as much as the other top 3. They're actually the the bottom out of the 3 that do run it. They do dabble in it, but they're not Fnatic and they're not Dignitas that will run that Tracer all day, every day.
Yeah, and when we're talking about an Illidan, you have Darkmok on the other team, so you're like, yeah, let's get this on.
That is very true. Zarya is the next ban that's kind of a given there. When you have the Malfurion and a Tassadar in the mix, suddenly it's like, okay, Zarya is obviously the next pickup. Get those shields for that Vala, taking her away is solid. Now, Tricked Esports should be moving into their tanks relatively soon. With Arthas not being available, I'm curious to see what we're going to see from Alex the Progi. It's been Tyrael in the past, but he has been nerfed slightly.
It could still be a Tyrael here. Another hero that we have seen is a bit more is Johanna. And on this map, again, we're talking about the extra AoE that you get not only to push the lanes, but also to get the momentum on the shrines themselves. It's one of the heroes that is still an option, so you can go for that. We could still see an ETC. The funny thing about Alex is that he's not really... He doesn't like his ETC. He talks pretty freely about it on his stream and everywhere. He's just like, I'm trash with ETC, and I don't want to play him, so they usually try to just let him go. If anyone plays ETC, is usually not him. He's just like, yeah, you can have the second, it's fine, but I'm going to be on Arthas.
At this point, it has to be a mental block. Like, I've seen him on streaming. He has played it pretty well with his ETC. I just think when he gets into a tournament environment, he's so scared of the stage dive life.
He sent me replays where he said, like, hey, you need to check this out. The games were really good. And then he was just like, but do me a favor. Don't really talk too much about my ETC. And
as he talks about it on the official HGC broadcast.
He had a couple of games where he just used stage dive, and it was cringy. For someone that is as good as Alex to see stage dives, I was just like, yeah, it's just not your hero. It's just not a playstyle. He likes different types. But that's okay.
Alex, you're beautiful. I feel like I have to inject some positivity after that. After that aggressive play.
I thought I already fanboyed him enough earlier when I was highlighting his stream. And I mean what I say. If you haven't watched his stream yet when he streams, make sure that you check that out, like, especially if you're a tank player.
Well, Rhaegar and Ragnaros to pick up for the 4th and 5th slot for Team Liquid. Going with this Gul'dan as one of their main damages. Now, to be fair, Ragnaros does bring in a hefty amount of damage up front.
There she
Johanna is going to be the last pickup there, so good call there by Caldor.
And the ugliest skin you could possibly take for her.
Oh, they just switched it.
And he switched it back.
Switched it back. And they switched it back.
That's definitely not the skin that I want to see on my JoJo. She has much better options. Just saying.
Dang, man. The synergy is real with Caldor over here.
It's important. Skins are important, my friend.
They are. The good news about Johanna, she does bring in that front, being able to walk into the shrine phase and set up for the area. It's much harder for Gul'dan and Ragnaros to keep him at bay. Granted, she is now more auto-attack resistant compared to what she was in the past. She's lost a little bit of health, so actual mages can kind of mess her up, especially if a Horrify connects before she's able to use that Iron Skin. So the Johanna has to be slightly careful, but there is damage to back up. On a Blessed Shield that may come in, that Greymane and that Vala can be so impactful, and also that Root.
Yeah. So this is a few of the things that they have definitely to watch out for, but they have a lot of wave clear. Then again, when we're looking at the opponent's side, that Ragnaros is slowing down the game. We've been mentioning that in the Cho'Gall game where we saw Fnatic against Experts a bit earlier today, that if you have the Ragnaros on Infernal Shrines, like going Molten Core when your opponent catches and a Punisher is great because you can make sure that your structures don't get as much damage and you slow the game down. You like lead it towards the late game a lot heavier. So that Ragnaros is going to gain a lot of value, especially since if you need to, you can also Molten Core a bit earlier and just like try to dominate the shrine itself with it. So it's a great draft here for Team Liquid. But we have seen Trick show signs of life, and I like it. Yeah,
Ragnaros is starting to kind of get isolated to a couple of battlegrounds now. It looks like Brex's Holdout and now Inferno Shrines are battlegrounds that, hey, this is actually an option that we should move into. I think Dragonshire also is a battleground that he can be very effective on. So looking at the drafts overall, what's your first pick here for winning?
Oh, it's definitely Trick. They have both my girls in their lineup, so that's Johanna and Vala. I mean, I can't say no to that. It's two of my favorite heroes, so yeah.
I don't know, Team Liquid, I don't know if I'm feeling the Gul'dan / the Nubarak pickup together. I understand the idea behind it. You get the really easy engage, the automatic setup, which means you get solid Horrify. And the great thing about Burrow Charge is that it is AoE, so you can hit multiple people, and that makes the Horrify that much stronger. I'm missing auto attack damage from them to actually get those final kills.
Nah, we kind of agree on that. I think they had better options than what they picked us to have the synergy with Tassadar. Not that it can't really work out, but I feel like put themselves in position where they make their own life a little bit harder than it has to be. Whereas with Tricked, it seems very, very straightforward. And like, okay, this is strong, this works, and we're not going to experiment too much here. We're going down a path that we know, and we're going to try and make with that. So I really believe they have a good shot at making even lead happen for them here.
Well, the series is currently tied 1-1, and we are going into game number 3. Who will take the lead in the best-of-5 series? Let's find out. Tricked Esports taking on the wonderful Team Liquid.
Infernal Shrines, as said before, is our map, our third map in the setup. And of course, once again, starting to the left, we have Team Liquid, the former Team Misfits, with Blumby on the Anubarak, Nurok on Gul'dan this time, as we see Hazops on the Tassadar, Dartmok on Ragnaros, and Splendor playing Rhaegar.
And in the red, Tricked Esport just now tying up the series. Nape will be on the Malfurion. Rimmer is going to be on the Grey main. We're also going to be having a Therno on the Vala, Alex the Progi on Johanna, and last but not least, Crosby will be showing off his Ario. I
have to actually laugh a little bit, by the way, seeing like who plays which hero on the side of Team Liquid, because for an eternity, Nurok was that Tassadar player, up to a point where he just basically was begging his team, stop drafting Tassadar, I don't want to play him anymore. And right now we have actually Hazops all of a sudden giving up the Gul'dan, and I want to know how much Nurok paid him for that. Just like said, dude, please, whatever you want, just don't put me on Tassadar again. Oh man, yeah, Tassadar is one of the most fun heroes you can possibly have if you're an auto attacker to be on your team. Yeah. But he's not so fun to actually individually play him. Here's the shield. Okay, I'll wait for another 8 seconds. It's just if you have to play him every single game, at some point, of course, it can be a bit frustrating. So they're switching this up a bit. But it's also highlighting how strong this team is. We've been talking a lot about their communication and how good they are at shot calling and just like the synergy between these team members. One of the points that we haven't really raised earlier when talking about Team Liquid is how fantastic their hero pools are. They also overlap a lot, so it's very tricky to analyze that draft in a way that you say, okay, they picked hero A, B, and C, which means that they're only looking for a hero for player number D. You can't really do that with them. Yeah. If you are going up against, let's say, amateur teams that have a very limited hero pool, you can use that information alone to outdraft them a little bit. With a team like Team Liquid, that's absolutely impossible because they have so much overlap happening that they will always be able to react to what we do. Yeah, it's definitely explains. It's one of the reasons why they're even here right now, #1 in the HGC Europe, and looking to continue to keep that trend available to them. Team Liquid is pushing the top lane, and they have eked out a almost full level lead over their opponents as they're moving on to level 4. Yeah, right now they're actually doing very well with this, and that level 4 talent is coming into play just as the Shrine is about to spawn. So Tricked is going to try and make sure that they are getting a bit more experience themselves before they are heading into the objective battle. But Team Liquid with aggression in the early game. Constant poke from Hasselhoff, bringing the shields to help out those turrets. Finally, they will get 4 here, but Tricked Esport will have to move into Team Liquid, who has already set up camp here on the Shrine phase. Splendor helping out with the heal here in the middle as well, and Tricked Esport actually looks like they're just going to give up the Shrine and focus on getting a fort. And if you take a fort here, that is a solid play. Team Liquid can't really allow that because that is too much value. We all know that an early Punisher, unless you have an Sylvanas in your team, should not really get more than a wall. So right now, they have to reactivate it, and that's what they immediately do. That allows Greymane to move straight towards the Shrine now himself. There's also Ragnaros that he has to consider. But the fight down here at the bottom is starting up again. Tassadar, by the way, going on level 1 now also into the Psy Infusion here for his Storm, so we're going to see that, and it's also, again, going to help them with the objective. Yeah, that deals with me that Team Liquid's going to have Tassadar just constantly be the guy that's soaking the lanes here, which is going to allow him to finish that level 1 talent. Also, will help later on when he finishes it to help clear out the Shrine phase. Now 34-11, the Shrine being focused down, Blumby leading the charge here, and this should be an easy pickup for Team Liquid. Esports just needs to make sure they don't get caught out of position. Oh my gosh, Alex the Progi with a big condemn. The combo with immediately Knappe throwing down the road there, well done. That's what they're going to look out for the rest of the game as well. So the double support comp that they're currently running here with Malfurion and Oriel. We've been kind of talking about this a little bit in case that you haven't really watched a lot of European Heroes of the Storm in the past few weeks after the Western Clash. This is becoming a lot more popular that you play double support. And not only in the sense that you're going for a Tassadar plus X, but also that we have something like a Lucio Oriel, like a Malfurion Oriel, like in this case. So it's actually a bit of a shift in the meta. It's not the only combo that really works here, but it's something that you will probably see a little bit more in the future now.
Keep an eye out for that. It's 7 hits here for Team Liquid. The Punisher finally is going to be dealt with. That 4 took more damage than you would normally expect, but Team Liquid did put 4 members down there. Tassadar being able to clear that bottom lane allowed for them to be a little bit more aggressive than they normally be with that type of hero, especially with them having Ragnaros in the top lane, complicating that pressure. Rimmer had to go up there and defend against that push, which allowed for Team Liquid to almost get that force. A solid play by them, and they keep their experience lead about 50% of experience level.
Yeah, not only that, the structural damage that you just talked about is of course going to play a big role later on too. But I really like this, like the dynamic that we have between the two of them, the two teams here, is already kind of fun. And once again, a bit of a skirmish here in the middle. We didn't see any kills yet, but we definitely have no shortage of fighting. Knappe is able to get out. Tons of sustain, of course, on both sides right now, which is going to make up for long and big drawn-out battles here. Greyman is starting to rotate into the middle as he realizes that his team is facing a 5-man, but he's a bit too late to join the fun.
Team Liquid did give up experience here just to go in for that fight, and them not getting a pick actually hurts them there. They missed out almost a full level. I believe Darkmonk only got 1 minion out of all those minions available, so granted that push did help out. Lumby low on health, will Burrow charge out for the moment, but more experience being grabbed in the middle as Tricked Esport. I will say that their punishing game, in terms of if someone makes a mistake, has gone up in the last few weeks.
Yeah, it definitely has. And we saw that especially on the last map, when it was always like, you don't get the kill against us, okay, you lose 2 heroes. That's what they've done the entire time, as Liquid was more focused onto a burst composition in the last game. The one that they're using right here has actually a ton of wave clear. I mean, if you think about that Rhaegar with the Lightning Shield, Gul'dan, Tassadar, you have the Ragnaros. The wave clear that they have in their arsenal is absolutely fantastic, and you can really tell by them just pushing through all of the lanes quite easily. And a push like this has to be met by a response fast, or it will take down even more structures than only the wall.
Okay, well, Tricked is kind of in a spot where they have to face a decision here. You're going to go for a hard engage or they soak level 10. They have elected to go for level 10, and in fact, they're going for an aggressive play in the top lane as they're hoping to get some pressure on Ragnaros. Ragnaros does retreat, which means Team Liquid should have free pickings on this Punisher. Focusing it down, using Tassadar clear, Gul'dan headed to the middle lane to get that 10 and make sure that they don't miss out on any free experience. Darkmonk getting low though, we'll have to be careful.
Yeah, the thing is, like, he's going to use the Molten Core, so I'm not quite sure how much you can actually do there. Level 10 is in, and that's the moment Team Liquid is trying to force a fight. They don't really get it, or do they? Nope, there we have it. It is Vala who falls. So they use the advantage with level 10, go in for the fight. So, grabbing the Punisher, defending the keep at the top lane, and getting a kill. Sounds solid to me.
Sounds pretty good. And they have an opportunity here to maybe get a fort in the bottom, but also that fort in the middle that they did start grabbing the damage on earlier, which should give them a nice chunk of beautiful experience. Splendor by himself will 1v1 the Alex the Prodigy on that Johanna, but really his main goal here is to get as much damage on that fort as possible, and they are burning that puppy down.
That's one of the things where I have to say I don't understand the thought process in this particular case. You are up against the Ragnaros at the top lane, you commit 3 heroes to it, and yes, you have a camp pushing behind you, but what did they expect would happen there? You know that he's Molten Core. He is going to use the Molten Core to save the fort. His team is eventually going to start a rotation. So what's the thought process?
Well, the thought process was Ragnaros was actually sitting in the middle of the lane, which meant they maybe could have gotten a kill, but the moment that kill does not happen, I agree with you. You give up.
And they didn't really have like a flank or anything, so that was a bit weird to me, that they actually were trying to just get that done at the top lane. I feel like they had way better options in this case, and now they find themselves all of a sudden 1.5 levels behind. I mean, this entire thing cost them the fort at the top lane. We see the fort at the bot lane eliminated as well. And on top of that, they also are 1.5 levels behind now. So that was a bit of a bad moment there. And it seems like when you look at it at first, it doesn't really seem like much. But if you look at the consequences of that situation, they are enormous.
One small shot call, man, can definitely hurt you in terms of the macro game. And Tricked Esports is going to have to figure out a way to bury themselves out of the situation that they have put themselves in. They do grab their Impalers, get pressure in the middle, maybe looking to get a pick off before 13 hits for Team Liquid, but Team Liquid has positioned well, and they are set up to take out this fort, which will give them that 13. They can just poke it here with Nurok, and of course, Darkmonk dropping the W. There it is. 13 is here and available for Tricked.
This is one of the scenarios where it can start to become tricky for a team because you are always trailing behind one talent. So Team Liquid is a bit ahead with the level 13 talent. That's going to give them a bit of a boost. Tricked is going to have to try and get enough experience so that they contest on the next Shrine phase. That could work out for them. They still have a bit of time left. The question is, can they really soak enough? And the one thing I also would like to highlight is that we have Curse Bullet for Greymane, and oftentimes we say that you need someone to follow that up so that you can really get the kill. Vala is there, so that would work for them. They also have, with the Johanna and the Blessed Shield, the opportunity to lock someone down. Malfurion coming in with the Root. So there's a lot of blow-up potential on the side of Trick going into a team fight against Team Liquid here.
We'll see if they can pull that off. The Ancestral from Rhaegar will have to be on point to deal with that pressure that's coming their way. Should be able to time it out, though. With the Strafe being popped, you can usually catch that damage and understand what you're doing, but we'll see a Splendor will make sure to handle that Ancestor healing. Now, the camp grab in the bottom will put pressure down for Tricked Esport to deal with, and they should set someone to grab that, which will allow Team Liquid to start this Punisher on the top. Now, this is an Arcade Punisher, which means it's possibly a keep.
Yeah, and also like the delay on the camp at the bot lane is fantastic because now it pushes the lane while the fight is happening at top. It also slowed the lane down so that Trick couldn't pick up the level 13 before that point right now. 20 against 0, and just now Trick on the point. So this is going to be an interesting battle, especially since time is working against them with that camp rushing through the bot lane. Good
corruption there by Nurok, making 3 members walk away as they get hit by it for Trick. Trick is starting to clear themselves here. Greymane being the main source of that clear. They're cleaving away. Crosby a little bit too forward. Blumby goes in. The cleanse does come out from Nape, but cleanse is now down. Hasuwabs is going to pop the Archon. Amazing Sulfuris matching Texas 4 people. Amazing horrified though. Nape gets taken out. Alex Aproji is being kited for now. Being slowed by Hasuwabs is picked off. That is 4 members. Only Ario will live, and Team Liquid will take the Punisher and multiple kills.
It's a quad kill, the Punisher, and a 2-level lead at this point, even more than that. The camp at the bot lane has also done work in the meantime. It's finally getting cleared here by Auriel. But yeah, that was a brutal fight there, and especially when we saw Gul'dan going in with that Horrify, that was fantastic.
Yeah. The Age is being popped out there. Let's check out the replay here as you were talking about. Look at that engage.
Yeah, first it really starts well with them getting the cleanse there, but now that moment when they're all clustered in one single spot, that just like was the beginning of the end. The Horrify also hits. They're getting picked off one after another. That was an absolutely fantastic scenario for Team Liquid. Incredibly well executed.
And now they might be able to execute the core here of Team Liquid. They push in, and they have the Molten Core popping in the damage. Alex Aproji trying to buy time on the left side. Rimmer getting focused down at the same time. Blumby attempting to kite backwards here into his teammate here for that big Molten swing. Multiple members low for Tricked Esport, but they hold on. Sulfuris comes out, but Iron Skin will save the day for Alex Aproji.
They were just looking at an opportunity to take another target down. If they get a kill or 2 here, they can actually end, and they have a 3-level lead and the level 16 talent advantage. So that's big. Alex, by the way, still in trouble. Rema also barely getting away, but they're all able to disengage in the end.
The camp that was picked 2 minutes ago is still in the bottom lane, just so you know, showing away. And we're going to have finally Team Liquid dealing with that at some point. It's kind of interesting how those Impalers will slowly chunk away. They're not the most scary camp in the world, but if you ignore them, they're going to eventually get through. And now that keep wall has been opened up for a keep rush for Team Liquid in that bottom lane.
So Tricked Esports, at this point, what they need to do is they need to be very patient. They need to accept that they are going to lose the next Punisher as well. At least I do not think that they will be able to pick up the level 16 talent before. And they have to hope for a big fight on level 16. I don't think they can wait for 20. Or they have to take a disadvantageous battle. They're in a forget what I just said. This is the beginning of the end right there.
Well, now they can just lose. That's another option too. Blumby goes in for the big 4-0 charge. Crosby in trouble. That's 3 people down.
Nope.
Focus Core, win video game. That is on the docket for Team Liquid. The core starts to fall, the armor being shredded. Kaldor, this is going to be a victory for Team Liquid.
Yeah, Liquid goes in, they go for the core here. That triple kill definitely enabled them to finish the game early. The only thing that Trick really could do was try and slow it down, gain experience, and not die. And they weren't really able to do that. So Liquid goes in, gets their kills, and bam, clenches out a victory on map number 3, taking the 2-1 lead against their opponent, against Tricked Esports.
A little more damage going a long way here for Team Liquid. Very similar composition to what we saw in Towers of Doom, but here we had the Ragnaros to help out, the Molten Core being instrumental as well for that aggressive play. Overall, Misfits just seemed a little bit more heated compared to game number 2.
To me personally, it still comes down to the one crucial moment up at the top. You find yourself in a call, you follow through with it, it doesn't work out. They committed 3 heroes to it, they abandoned Punisher, they abandoned the Shrine for it. They didn't get anything out of it, lost a hero on the retreat, fell behind with the level 10s. I think the idea was really just to get pressure on the lane, get level 10, try to force maybe the 4 down at some point, but Ragnaros with Molten Core was able to prevent that. Team Liquid rotating up top, having the level 10 advantage, getting a kill, getting the Punisher. It was just way too much. In my personal opinion, this one core, that scenario ended the game.
They put him behind, certainly. You know, you lost the 4 at the top and
they
the
never
bottom,
recovered.
Pressure suddenly. That Impaler that was grabbing the bottom and suddenly became that more instrumental for the next Punisher at the very top of the north. Small things like that just stack up. It's what we talk about in HGC and we learn about.
Yeah. I mean, this thing really just like broke the camel's back. At that point, they were never able to come back into the game. And they did well, but they were trying. Up to that point, I really liked what they were executing on the map. But that was the moment where it all turned against them, I feel.
A learning moment for Tricked Esports. We'll be right back with game number 4. The HGC will continue.